and stopping short. I'm like, oh, and Gary sees me like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, I might not make it to the club. And he's like, you're gonna shit yourself? And I was like, I might, dude. Subscribe!
All right, let's dive right in. Sam Morril's back. You're probably definitely one of our most like regular.
One of our most liked guests.
I'm honored.
Yeah, that's true.
You're actually also. I was telling a story very recently, last episode, about my work. I'm just grown tired of music, and so when I exercise, I listen to just comedy albums. And I was listening to you the other day, and like I look like a psychopath because like I'm on my porch jumping rope and like laughing hysterically because like I've been listening to you and Soder a lot, and I'm just laughing, and then I'll be jumping rope, and I'll whip my hand sometimes, so I'll start like cursing like weird, like cunt, fucking, slut, bitch, and then go back to laughing. I look like a psychopath, and that's partly because of you. Thank you.
Well, I'm honored. I'm honored that
John's neighbors are gonna call like what's that called, like a 5750 when they gotta like check on your well-being because of you, Sam Morril.
Well,
dude, it's an honor.
I'm just gonna find two dead
It's an honor to
bodies
make it's always weird when people listen to comedy during a workout, but like I remember one time I had to shuffle, and I remember one time like Tom Waits came on. I'm like, this is fucking bleak to work out to. Like you're trying to do push-ups to rain dogs.
I
don't
get amped up anymore. Like when I was in fucking high school, I'd be like, "We ready?" But now
to work out, you mean, or just life?
Like life in general, but particularly working out, where I'll listen to folklore while I work out. I just want something that's gonna make the time pass faster.
Do you work out?
I mean, I have like neck problems, so I'll swim sometimes. I used to swim at the rec center. That was my move.
Wow.
And now
swimming is. I feel like adults don't really know because we kind of like, oh yeah, I know how to swim. I did all the time as a kid.
Hard as fuck.
Swimming is impossible.
It's like the best.
If you can swim, you're like the greatest athlete.
I'm not a good swimmer. I don't go quickly, and it's like the rec center is filled with like old Asian men who are just speed demons. I don't know where the hell they figured this out, but like. It's weird. You're like doing laps. You like kind of go around people. It's packed. It's closed down.
Kickflip thing?
No, God, no. Are you kidding me? No. I feel like that's a pro move. I'm not. I'm a city kid. I mean, I hate to learn swimming.
I can't believe you didn't know how to swim.
I can't drive, but I could swim. I focus on the wrong shit.
When you say you can't drive. Like, you don't have your license and whatnot, but like if I threw you the keys to the car, would you like not be able to figure it out?
I have a license.
You do,
but I can't drive.
You can't drive. Okay.
It's even worse. I kind of bullshit my way through the test. I don't know if I told you this last time I was here.
No, let it rip.
No, I failed twice.
Did you take it in Manhattan?
In the Bronx. And then the third time, I got an instructor who was just like, I just opened by going, I failed twice, please don't fail me. And she laughed, and I was like, I'm in. Yeah. That's all it took. But
that girl was probably like, please don't suck too bad.
Yeah, I think when you lower expectations,
yeah.
It's like when you see Chris Rock at the Cellar, he always says, lower your expectations, and he gets a laff, and you're like, oh, that's smart.
Right.
Because if he's not good that night.
Then he said that.
He's like, I told you I wouldn't be good. Yeah. So that's what I did with my driver's test.
My driver's test got lucky because they had kind of the same thing. I never failed. I passed first time, but mine was in the parking lot. My DMV, the DMV where I grew up in Fall River, is in the parking lot of a Pub 99.
Wow.
And which is like, I guess that's a regional thing, right? So it's like a Chili's, Applebee's, one of those things. And I never left the driveway. Never left the parking lot. Didn't have to park. Did just did a lap around the parking lot, and they were like, "All right, you're all set." And I was like,
"Damn!"
I was like, "All right,
That's in Florida?
You are no, Fall River is in Massachusetts."
Oh, Massachusetts.
But it's probably going on in Florida too. Remember when during the pandemic when they just gave everybody licenses?
Oh,
in the very beginning,
Did they really?
Georgia and like Mississippi were like, if you had your driver's license test scheduled, like you can't, this was like peak hysteria, and even down there, the people who were at least playing by the rules, they were like, fuck it, you all got your license. And then, like, in a month, when things, like, kind of, like, calmed down, they were like, actually, you got to return that. And it was like, yeah, fucking right. Good luck with that. Like, yeah, I'll just bring back my license and we can take the test.
My girlfriend was worrying during the pandemic where she was like, well, you don't have a license. Like, you need me in the pandemic because if shit gets really bad, we got to drive out. Like, you can't call an Uber. That's what she would say to me. And I'd be like,
you need me, bitch.
Well, like, if shit's getting really bad, do you think we're making it far anyway? Like, do you think me guarding you, like, with my frame? I'm one of the first one dead from the zombies.
I've always said, man, I'm not even if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm not even trying to survive.
No.
Find a way to kill myself and be done with it.
I complain about a bad hotel room. You think I'm gonna last long when zombies? I've been on the road a lot, and it's been like some weekends are great, and then other weekends you're like, this is this, because people are like, the road, that must be hard, and you're like, it's not unless things are horrible.
Yeah, that's usually how things work.
I kind of like it, but then
I would like the road. I feel like
it's fucking fun.
Well, I feel like I would like, like New York, Miami, Chicago, L.A., but when I see, you guys sometimes are in like, I don't know, just places I've never even heard, literally cities I've never even heard of.
I know. Well, that's like you kind of want to build up in those cities.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
And you're like, all right, well, I'm in Toledo, Ohio to work on my act. No offense, guys.
They've got to know. Toledo, Ohio has to know.
And then we're in Boston, Massachusetts to bring the heat.
Yeah.
This is where we're making the money.
What did you actually posted a video just the other day where you talk about Chappelle. And you were like, if Chappelle gets canceled, he's playing here.
Yeah.
Well,
Someone screamed out, "What do you think about Dave Chappelle being canceled?" And I said, he just played an arena yesterday. He got $20 million for Netflix, and I said if he's canceled, he's playing this shithole in Indianapolis.
Right to their fucking faces.
But they all applauded because they're like, yeah. But I mean, look, the club is it's a good club in Indianapolis. But I'm like, if Chappelle's here, shit went horribly wrong.
Well, even in Chappelle's special, he was like, I chose Detroit because I fucking ragged on you guys so hard for the last like 20 years. I figure like I owe you back. Those cities have got to know that they have never once seen a comedian's real act. They're always getting the workout material.
What I do though is I do over an hour there, so that I give them at least like 50 of A, and then I'll give them and then I'll try out like 20 or 25 at the end. No, they deserve.
That's generous.
They do deserve. No, they deserve the same.
They're not. They're subhuman. What are you talking about? They don't deserve rights.
That I almost feel like when you go to a comedy show and you kind of get that is almost sometimes like better. Like it's like when
I love it.
You get a better show in the club because I think it's more fun to watch the comedian figure shit out.
Yeah,
I would rather watch a comedian work on stuff than just play.
Me too.
Because I'll play my best jokes too. I want them to see a good show.
Yeah.
But and I'll even like take requests at the end if someone's like do a bit on this. I'm like, oh, let's do it.
Right, right.
But
when we saw him, he had his paper out, and it was like, oh, this is cool to watch like someone at work.
That hotel. You were playing a hotel nearby, like
during the peak pandemic.
Yeah.
But that was
not a hotel. It was whatever it was. I forget.
It felt like a hotel.
The Wilson.
You're right. It was a hotel.
Chelsea. Yeah. No, that spot ruled.
And that was fucking awesome. Like you'd like kind of go back to the chair.
Shout out to Nancy in hospitality, man. She ran that place. She ruled. She was so cool.
And I think that was the first time we saw Rachel Feinstein open for him. She was just in yesterday.
Yeah,
or 2 days ago. Her and Jessica Kirkson. It was.
I lived with Rachel for a minute.
It was wild.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. We during one summer, Amy Schumer was like, I'm filming a movie. Do you guys want to just stay? I was moving anyway. She knew I was moving, so she was like, Rachel was just staying in her massive home, and she was like, do you want to just stay in my home? So I was just living with Rachel for like.
You were living with Rachel in Amy Schumer's home.
I was like, this is the show right here.
Yeah.
It's like Entourage, but we're like failures, and Vinny Chase is just never in the show. That's the show.
How long did you do that?
It ended up being like a couple months.
Holy
but
shit!
But yeah, Rachel and I I would just. Amy had a huge bar in her home, so we would just be getting like day drunk. And I remember like Rachel would be like, she was going through a breakup at the time, and I remember I'd like call her into the kitchen. I'd be like, Rachel, I need to talk to you. It's really important. And she'd be like, I know it's not important. I'd be like, it's an emergency. And then she'd come in. I'd be like, let's get drunk. And we would just get like day drunk. It was one of the most fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds really. I'd gladly take that right now.
No, she was the best, man. No, we had a great
This is in
time.
LA, I'm assuming?
No, it was in New York.
Oh, New York.
Yeah.
She had like a bomb-ass spot in New York?
It was great.
Wow.
It was actually, you know where it was? Have you seen Only Murders in the Building?
Yes.
It was that building.
Wow.
Oh, no shit.
Literally, or you mean like a place like that?
It was. I think it's where they shot it.
Yeah,
it looks like at least where the entrance is.
That place is fucking sick.
Yeah. It was. That show is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I kind of fallen off it, but it is good. I'm gonna finish it at some
Every
point.
show drags a little now.
It does.
But it's still great. It's Martin
every
Short.
show is
6
actually just
episodes,
an
bro.
8-hour movie.
Everything's
in the middle, this movie's boring.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, they don't make 8-hour movies. They make them 2 for a fucking reason.
But it's like a 10-episode deal, so they have to do. I'm like, this would be a perfect 8.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
And
Everything.
usually a 10 usually should be an 8, and an 8 should usually be a 6.
Yeah.
And then honestly, everything should be a 4.
That's what I say in Cincinnati too.
Where you said you've been like complaining, not complaining, but you said you've been on the road and like good days are good or good trips are good. Where do you stay now? Like I feel like you're in nice hotels now.
Well,
right?
it depends. I mean, we did a gig. I was with my buddy Gary Veter, who's like one of my best friends. We'll do the road together. I've known Gary for like 15 years. Like I met him at an open mic on 34th Street at a place called Maui Taco, and Gary had great jokes out of as a young comic because he was just a pure joke, right? Like he has jokes where it's like he had a joke right when Caitlyn Jenner was transitioning, and he said, "Had you heard about Caitlyn Jenner's transition?" He goes, "Oh, I'm only on season 2." Like Kardashian jokes like that. These are great, quick one-liners. Yeah. You know, where he'd be like, or he have jokes like, you know, how his wife told him she doesn't think Tom Brady's attractive. And he goes, she thinks she can't find the beauty in Tom Brady, but she could find the beauty in me. And that's when I knew she's not to be trusted. You know? Just great one-liners. So, you know, he's up there and he's bombing. No one's listening at the mic. And I'm noticing, I'm like, these are good jokes, but you're so jaded from doing the mic, so you're just kind of like tired and you have nothing. And it's on us for not being more supportive. You should always be supportive of those things. But I was just kind of spacing out, and I was like writing my notes down. And Gary looks at me. I was like 20 or something, maybe 19. Gary's like, "Look at this asshole. He's not even paying attention." And everyone's like, "What the?" Like, I was like, "Sorry, shit." The next night, I ran a show with another comic, and the other comic I ran it with booked Gary. So he just goes, "Hey, sorry about that." I was like, "Oh, like I get it. Right. We're doing the mics." And Gary and I are in St. Louis, and first night, like the hotel, like I usually do buyouts now where they just give you money for the hotel and but like, you know.
Wait, what does that mean?
That means they just give you money and you book your own hotel.
Oh, got it.
But then sometimes they're like, here's a hotel that it's really, trust us, it's really good. There's like a severed head behind the bed. Yeah. But no, you get in there and it looked really nice from the outside. Yeah. And some of these hotels, like I'd stayed in before the pandemic, and they've gotten way worse. Like the hotel staff is phoning it in. That's the thing, is it's understaffed. Yeah. You know?
Right.
So we get into this hotel, and Gary immediately is like, first off, I'm like, I remember staying in a way nicer room last time I was here. So I called the front desk. I'm like, is there like a bigger, like a nicer, like a
suite
like,
or something?
Yeah, we'll work on it. So I move, and I'm like, it's still pretty shitty. And then Gary calls me. He's like, there's pubes on my bed.
I was gonna say, I do remember that. Didn't he have his like phone out? Like
he was inspecting it.
Yes, I saw that.
like the way the nurse used to look for lice. He was looking for pubes in his hotel bed.
Yeah.
And he called the front desk, and he was like, hey, can I get a better room? And the guy's like, maybe. He just said maybe, which is such a great response. He goes, there's pubes in my bed. He goes, well, I hope this one's not. He couldn't even like guarantee it. And it's like, that's kind of the state of the country right now.
Right.
So then Gary's in the next room, and he's like, this one's kind of sucks too. And I was like, we should just get a different hotel. So we moved to everything goes wrong this weekend. Like the first night we're in the club, and you know, we're tired from changing the rooms and stuff. So then we changed hotels too. So I closed the door, and Gary's on stage for the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom. It's a sliding door. The door is just locked. It won't unlock. So I'm just like, can you unlock can someone unlock this? And no one's there. So I look through my itinerary. I start texting the club manager. I'm like, can you guys get me out
of the bathroom?
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So they come and they're like, it won't open. And I'm like, well, he's calling my name. I gotta get out there. So Gary's literally going, Sam Morril. And they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, well, what do we do? And I was like, can I kick the door in? Do you care if I kick the door in?
Did you do it?
I did it.
Yeah.
I thought it was
kicks.
Well, it was one kick, but
did you do like straight on?
Yeah. I did like 80s cop, like like what the fuck is up? Like I did that, but it wasn't as cool as I thought it would be. Like I just kicked it once, and it's a sliding door, so the lock just fell off. The door fell off. The door handle.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't like I kicked the door down.
You just kicked the handle
out. I kicked the handle up, and then the guy just slid it off. This is kind of a bummer, you know. And then I went out there, and then the next night I get fucking food poisoning. It's my fault. I ordered rainbow trout at a restaurant in St. Louis. St. Louis, as we all know, is known for their seafood.
Zero sympathy for you, bro.
No, I know. I deserve
zero.
It. So I thought I was gonna shit my pants in the Uber to the club. So I'm in the Uber to the club, and the driver, like he's like kind of swerving and stopping. So I'm like, oh, and Gary sees me like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, I might not make it to the club. And he's like, you're going to shit yourself? And I was like, I might, dude. It's like a low point. And then the driver.
That's the shit yourself feeling when it's not like I have to go to the bathroom. Like, I'm going to shit
and
myself.
You know you're like 20, 30 minutes away from
I'm too old for this. It happened to me on the school bus when I was a little kid. That's the last time it happened to me. I think in first grade, and I was in Midtown traffic, and I was like and I just went, and I remember one of the kids goes, "There's no way he went," and another kid touched my butt. He goes, "He ain't lying." I crapped myself in Midtown on the school bus. I was
You
7.
had like lumpy poop in your butt.
Yeah,
You could feel it.
yeah.
What a weirdo to touch someone else's shit, but oh my,
Yeah.
he ain't lying.
Yeah, and then
that
we
should be
went to my
the
friend's.
title of your next special. He ain't lying. Oh my
We
god.
went to my friend's house and his mom had to like clean me out in the shower, and she was French and she kept going, dirty, dirty boy, dirty. It was like I was like, I'm sorry.
And you're
I
like,
tried.
how old are you? Like 6, 7 years old at
Yeah.
this point?
Dirty,
And then-
dirty
and then,
boy. She's
I've
smoking
seen
a
a
cigarette.
video like that before. Yeah, you
I had
French
I used to
girl
have
with
stomach
the,
problems, so I remember like.
There's something always wrong with your people.
there's always-
We got a guy here who's Italian, and it's just stunning. He's not Jewish, and he's always got a sinus infection or an allergy or something. It's
He's scared to drive on the
Jews are
highway.
basically-
drive on the highway.
We're basically weak Italians. That's what we are.
I always say Italians are Jews without money.
Similar moms, right?
Yes,
Mo-
absolutely.
helicopter moms.
Yep, big time.
Right?
Always want you to find a nice girl of your kind, and
Sure.
always make sure you're fed and happy. The
Funny,
only
they always
difference
act like they're progressive, but they're always like, "Is she different?"
Yeah.
Like that's
and
the first
then
question.
kick her out. Yeah. The only difference is I feel like the Italians smother their kids, where your parents will from like September to May, and then in June, July, August they just ship you out to camp. They're just
Oh,
like,
no,
see you fucking later.
That is true, but my mom is still like, I got a doctor's appointment yesterday. She's like, call me immediately after. I'm
Let
like,
me know what to send you.
it's not gonna make a difference on the diagnosis, you know?
If you
But-
know, yeah.
And I'm like,
what's
it's not that
the-
serious. But
What special is it of yours when you say you're talking on the phone with your mom and you're like, oh, a dead bird.
True
Just don't
story.
touch it.
True story. I was on the phone with my mom. We saw a dead pigeon, and I said, ugh, dead bird right here. My mom, I don't even know why I said it out loud. My mom goes, don't touch it. And I was like, what do you think I'm doing when you're not
Smother it on
around?
me? Yeah. I was gonna eat it for dinner, Ma.
So what happened? So I'm in the car, the Uber, going to the club, and I don't think I'm gonna make it. And Gary's like, I feel kind of sick too. I'm like, cool, kind of sick. I'm gonna shit my pants in the car. And the driver turns around and he goes, oh man, I was there yesterday, man. Flaming hot Cheetos. I turned my toilet seat pink. And I'm just like, why are you telling me
It's not
this?
helping. It's not.
I said, dude, that's not helping. I'm like, and we finally get there. I waddled in. I run into the club. I barely make it to the toilet. It's the broken door that I slide. Gary sees I'm struggling. He hands a bottle of my Lanta through the broken door.
What a friend.
Wait, but then I'm like, dude, this is like heartburn. This
Yeah.
isn't- So then they
Either
went
that
out
or
and
it's
got-
also too late at this point,
it's
man.
true. Well, it wasn't. He had to do extra time because I didn't think I could make it on stage. I was in that much pain. And then Gary.
and then you were able to do a set, like.
I mean, first 20 minutes hurt, and then
Yeah.
I kind of like the Pepto kind of kicked in.
Yeah, shit.
He did the same thing with the Pepto through the little door. But yeah, no,
When
it was tough. So some weekends like that, you're just like, oh man,
Fuck
nothing's
this.
going right. But the crowds were amazing in St. Louis. They're such good
Yeah.
crowds. But yeah, it was.
When you're
The
when you're
rainbow
running,
trout is.
yeah,
I
it's a
deserved it,
crazy
dude.
move.
I guess you can see the water, but it's the Mississippi River.
Well,
Yeah.
we ate barbecue the day before, and it was so heavy that I was like, let me go light.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
barbecue in St. Louis is so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's
you,
like.
you gotta go get like a salad or I don't know, grilled chicken, not
Yeah,
a
chicken.
fucking rainbow trout.
Everything that happens to me, I deserve. Like I bring it all on me. Like it's like I feel crappy. It's like, and then I retrace my steps, and I'm like, oh yeah, this
Look
is
at your
like,
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get Pepto in my rider. I need like some people have like M&Ms.
Well,
I'm like, I need
these
like
guys do. I'm new to heartburn, and I was just saying the other day, like the first time I felt it for real.
like Nexium
I
you
did-
take.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, just feel it. Like, I'm not even on anything yet for it because it's like new to me. Like, I was able to eat what I haven't even tried that out, that drug. But when it first happened to me, I was like, oh, I'm dying. Like, I need to call
Yeah.
like the hospital.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh no, this is just actually what heartburn is. But him and a couple other guys here on Part of My Take, you guys have been doing pre-Tums forever, right?
Yeah, I
Before
just-
you eat everything, you take a bunch of Tums and
Damn.
coat the system and
It's like
coat the
birth
stomach.
control for men.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
I walk around with Nexium. I have it all, man. I got it
Yeah.
all. I got it fucking bad. But I went to St. Louis for the first time recently. Didn't eat any seafood while I was there. And I didn't know how dangerous it was. I thought it was like
Oh my God, Jefferson County is like that's where.
East St. Louis is like crazy.
Jeez, what's his name? The big black guy who got shot by the cop. That was like where it started. Not fuck. What's his name?
Michael
That's. I mean,
Brown. Mike Brown.
it was Jefferson County, I think.
yeah.
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jefferson County's the meth problem. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the meth.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
throw
was
them all
I like
there.
that I brought this up. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. No, it was Ferguson. But then Jefferson County's got the meth issue there. I mean,
It's crazy.
St. Louis.
I think it's one of those things where it's like this side of the street, fine. This side of the street, like absolutely fucking not.
Everyone talks about Chicago, but like St. Louis, and you look at like Indianapolis is more murders per capita than Chicago.
Oh,
apparently,
shit.
I didn't know that, but I was like,
I didn't think that was
apparently.
possible. I thought we maxed out murder in Chicago. I didn't think there was any murder
Indy
left.
downtown is sketchy.
That's
I was just
crazy.
in Indy downtown. It's like homeless people that like it's like a video game. You're like watching them come at you. It doesn't feel like real life.
Oh, see, that's Philly. Philly's the same.
Yeah.
Dude, Philly, we did a show at where?
Helium or the punch
One
line
of
or
them.
whatever it's called.
And we went to another bar, McGill's or something like that afterwards. And I had to go to the hotel first to drop off my bag. And the hotel was probably 4 blocks, we'll call it, from
Yeah, it
this
was
bar
close.
we were going
Mhm.
to. And I was walking alone to the bar. And it was, like you said, like a video game. It was exactly like that, where it was like a zombie video game, where it's like you're walking quietly. It's end of World War Z, when fucking Brad Pitt's just like quietly walking through, being like, they can't even see me. And they're kind of rushing past him. And then one homeless guy stops, looks me dead in the eyes, and he's like, "Do you have $5?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Man, I'm gonna shit myself." And I was like, is that in response to me not having $5, or were you gonna
Would that have
plug
made it
yourself in?
different?
What was the $5 for in this situation?
Then you said, I almost shit myself the other day. Turn that toilet bowl pink.
Yeah.
He was like, thanks.
Hot
Thanks for
Cheetos
telling
around
me.
his lips. There was also those guys who like slow rolled us. Remember that? We were walking together, like
The
back
slow
late at
roll
night.
is so sketchy.
They were in like
Late
a
at
Range
night.
Rover. Yeah, you remember
Yeah.
this?
Oh no, I don't remember. I've been drinking a lot at the bar. This is on the way home from the bar. I don't usually remember those trips.
They were like just like rolling along with us.
Yeah,
And
okay,
I think
now
they
you-
said something about your jacket or
Now
my
I do
jacket.
remember. Yeah, I was gonna say
I
they
was like,
complimented my clothes.
we're gonna get like robbed for this guy's jacket right now. We're gonna be pussies about it and do it. We're gonna be like, here you go.
I remember the jacket. It was the black and white jacket. It was a
If
striped
someone's
jacket.
robbing
Yeah.
you for the jacket, just like they have more to lose.
In no
Give 'em the
world
jacket.
Yeah.
would I hesitate to give anyone robbing me
know.
anything.
That's-
like people who are
I'm
like,
such a pussy. I'd be like, here's my jacket, and do you need
And
like
what else?
$60 too? Like,
Yeah.
here's my
Here's my
phone
card,
also.
yeah.
dude, we just interviewed Kim Coates, who I don't know if you ever watched Sons of Anarchy, but he plays Tig, who's like the badass. Anyway, I'm restarting Sons of Anarchy. And it's, first of all, not as good as I remember. Second of all, there's like a scene where Jax, who's Charlie Hunnam, and he's kidnapped by the other biker gang, and they're like, give us your cut. And which is just his leather jacket.
Never.
He's like, you'll have to kill me first. I'm like, here, take the vest. I'll get a new one.
Yeah. I would never stand up for
the
myself ever.
disrespect of this, I can't allow it. I'm like, here, fuck, you
What?
want? I will give you all of my clothes and walk home naked. I don't give
Imagine
a
having
shit.
that much beef with someone that you're like, I won't give you. I'm like, I'll fucking give anyone my clothes. I
What
don't
would
give
you?
a shit.
Where would you draw the line? Where would you have some self-respect?
Oral sex,
Yeah,
probably.
if
I don't
someone's
think
forcing you to
oral
suck their
sex
dick?
or my life. I'll suck that dick. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. What about like?
I would suck it, but I'd ask a lot of questions first. I'd be like, "When's the last time you showered? Do you trim your pubes?" I would ask a
About
lot
how
I
of
much
wouldn't
did
ask
it
any
last?
questions. I just unzip his pants and find it all out pretty quickly. like, all right. And then what if you got down there and there were a bunch of pubes? You're like, never mind, dude. Just pull
You
the
know what
trigger.
I
This
saw?
is this is where I draw the line on this.
I saw that we,
Yeah, maybe,
our,
though. I don't know.
our generation has like almost eradicated crabs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, crabs,
I
that
heard that
doesn't exist.
before I even had the chance to get crabs.
Yeah.
I'd heard
Yeah.
that.
That's crazy that people used to just walk around with fucking lice on their dicks and pussies and it was just like, you can fix that. Zoop, like there's no little place for them to live anymore. You
But you
dumb
wasn't a zoop
fucking
back then,
Yeah,
right?
it was
Wait, when was the invented? Like
the Clippers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's that new. You
Is
think
it not?
so?
You're probably right. I think electricity was invented in the 70s, so I'm a bad person to ask this kind of stuff. Like, we were just talking about the 1800s.
Uh-huh.
We had a question the other day where it was like, if you could to go back to the 1800s and bring one source of comfort, and what would you bring to, like, blow someone's mind?
Yeah.
I said, like, an anxiety blanket, where I'm like... But also, I've since realized in, like, the tweets about that question, the 1800s, I was thinking medieval times. Like, we were talking
Yeah,
about
like-
hunters and gatherers, and I had said women didn't know what their clits were yet. I don't have any concept of time.
That'd be awesome. That'd be
I
awesome
rolled
if
with the
you-
clip thing.
I have a grandmother who died like 10 years ago. She's alive in the 1800s.
Yeah.
That'd be great if you came back from the 1800s. And you're like, I've discovered the clit, and they're like, hey, we've got that. We don't. What are you talking about?
It's like the only source of joy we have in this fucking hellhole.
Dude, the 1800s. That was like yesterday.
like cars were invented in the 1800s.
I
When in
just
the
realized that last
1800s?
night.
Yeah, well, but like, Yeah, but they weren't like good cars.
No,
They were
I think like the
fucking-
Ford Model T was probably like 1899.
Was
like
it
right
really?
At the very, I don't.
I thought
know,
it was
I
like
don't
the
know.
early 1900s, but I could be.
It probably is, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not that far off from like
The 1800s really a forgotten century. Like, what happened in the 1800s?
Well, a couple
There was,
things.
there was a big war.
Well, yeah, there was a civil one.
we,
Right?
we like quote unquote freed an entire people.
Well, the 1700s, we enslaved them,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
That's the one I
there
remember
was some big
more.
ones. What's the
Yeah.
most forgotten century?
Anything
Like
before-
imagine being
anything
like,
before 1770.
in like the in like the 700s. Like what the fuck happened in the 700s?
Oh, that was the Byzantine Empire.
Sure.
Damn. Yeah, I remember. What was it? I definitely like Babylon. I definitely like thought some of those places were still around for a minute. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, Babylonians. They're still around, right? Oh no, you know what it was?
It
I was
was?
watching a documentary. You know, I was watching a documentary on the Macedonians, and I didn't know Macedonia was still a place too.
It is
It
right
is?
now.
Yeah.
You can go to Macedonia.
Macedonia is still a place. And
Okay,
I
let
was
me-
in my
let
head.
me
I was
just
like, well,
guess where it
that was
is.
part of the, you know.
South America?
No.
No.
The Greek area, right? Mediterranean.
I think so.
Whatever.
That's
You
what
guys
it
didn't even
is.
know the
'Cause
700s
it
of the
was-
Byzantine Empire, so
Because
fuck
it
off.
was like the Greek. I think the Greeks like fought the Macedonians and shit.
Southeastern Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was hoping that
Macedonia
was...
is a place.
I saw
right
this
now.
doc on this woman who made honey.
That's Greece.
Greece, yeah.
What's that one called? You know, look up Mesopotamia honey.
Oh,
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia is different
Oh
from
no,
Macedonia.
No, it's Macedonia rather.
Okay.
Sorry,
Macedonia.
it is Macedonia. I fucked up.
Macedonia.
We're talking about all these places, and now I'm like,
Old. That's old, but it's like part of Greece, basically.
Right.
It's like
yeah.
But is it
But like, I
still
couldn't
around
get
today?
a flight to Macedonia.
No.
I could get a flight to Greece and say I'm in Macedonia.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like, you know what's weird is Romans, you know, I mean, I know their empire got big as fuck, but like it's Italy, it's Italians, right? Rome,
Yeah.
Romans, like you greasy guineas are all just fucking Romans.
Yeah.
It's funny
The
to think of
comments
it
for
that
this
way.
are gonna be so angry. They're gonna be like, you dumb
You
fucks.
dumb, ignorant assholes.
But
That it must be
Macedonia does exist?
North Macedonia.
Shit.
no, that's what I'm saying. But I just,
Republic of Macedonia.
what's the name of that doc? It's just look up Macedonia honey, and it'll
Honey
come up.
documentary.
Yeah, no, it'll come up. It's really fucking good.
Wait, you're a documentary guy? Oof, I've got a bone to pick with you then.
Why?
I think you people have ruined the world.
Really?
Yeah, documentary watchers.
What's it called?
Honeyland.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really
You couldn't think
good.
of a Honeyland?
This woman who works the land to make honey.
I watched it during the pandemic. That felt like 10 years ago. It was like last
I
year.
thought it was gonna be in Macedonian or something.
What,
that title.
why do you hate documentaries?
I just think they're all so bad. I think that they have. I don't think it's bad to like them, but I think people have to accept the fact because everyone watches a documentary and thinks they're the smartest person in the world.
Yeah.
So Sam, tell us about your documentary you're promoting.
See, no, that's That's very different.
It's usually like the true crime ones.
The true
and,
crimes is where my thing is.
yeah.
But
You like the true crime?
No. That's my problem with true crimes.
I do have a problem because you know that they're making one about like Brian Laundrie as we speak.
Oh.
They probably already mic'd up Dog at Netflix, you know?
You see, Dog went home because of a twisted ankle.
That's a bummer.
I mean, gotta be able to
Is it a
persevere.
bummer or is it kind of like he just gave up?
I think
Like, I've twisted my ankle before. I continue.
Yeah, but he's
doing-
like 70.
it's
dude.
time for Dog to hang up the bounty.
I think dog behind the woodshed.
Yeah, like
This is like this would have forgiven him for the N-word stuff if he found Brian Laundrie and he didn't, and it's a bummer.
forgot about the N-word.
This really would have been. This would have been like a swan song for him.
It would've
Remember when
helped.
we were supposed to interview him?
Mm-hmm.
The day after all that stuff broke, and
Really?
we were like, please. Oh, and then you got sick or something, so you weren't even gonna come in that day.
Yeah.
And I was gonna
You were gonna do
interview
it solo?
Dog alone, like ignoring me and Dog just sitting here ignoring the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thank fucking God his reps had the good sense to be like, you know what?
Maybe not.
We're not gonna do a press tour today.
Yeah, well, that's a weird. He's a character, that guy, because I think he went down for aiding a robbery or something. I think his friend shot someone.
Recently?
No, in like
No,
the
no, no.
70s. Or
Oh,
something.
that's like-
yeah.
yeah.
And then he like he turned his life around. He was a drug addict and started wearing
Yeah.
Navajo jewelry for some reason. And he
I mean,
looks,
that guy.
he looks strange.
If he doesn't have the hair and the like the
probably
pseudo
looks
Hulk Hogan
normal,
look,
yeah.
like you know.
No, he
he's
looks
no
like
big-
Joan Rivers as a pro wrestler. He looks very weird. But he.
Imagine showing someone a picture of Dog and being like, this guy has.
This is our law enforcement.
This is his after of turning his life around. This
This
guy.
the after pick.
He's
It
gotten
used to be
really
worse.
good the last 50 years.
You know what's weird about Dog too is that guy really like he is brave because I mean he's a bounty hunter.
he
so that's
does
the weird
do-
thing. It's weird that we're all shitting on him when we're like, but then also like this dude is literally he's collecting bounties.
I feel like I'm sure when the show became successful, he just became a TV star basically. But I think he was fucking hunting some bounty, like some bad people, like before.
Was he?
Like I don't think you get this show if you're not like a pretty effective bounty hunter.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he definitely might be.
I watch
but
a lot
also
of those.
think-
Do you ever watch like Homicide Hunter on Investigation Discovery
No.
Channel?
No.
Oh, dude,
great
this
channel,
guy,
though.
dude, this
he?
guy, this guy,
Well, you probably hate it.
this
'cause-
guy is
It's all documentaries.
a retired cop from Colorado Springs, and he is just so full of himself. It's so funny. His name's Lieutenant Joe Kenda. He literally has catchphrases and sells mugs with the catchphrases, and like his life's insane. Like he solved a shitload of mysteries and stuff, and he's like a dark dude. And oh man, like he just will come on, and he's so proud. Like first off, they get for the dramatizations, they get this like young hunk to play him, and
He's
then
like
he
a fat bag of shit.
no, he looks fine, but he's just old. It's just,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
hilarious to be like, who should we cast? We're like, let's get this Chris Hemsworth looking motherfucker to play me. And then he comes on and he's just like, he turns to the camera and always goes, my. That when he comes up with a clue, that's like the cutaway. And then he'll say things like, he was a rat, and that's when I knew I had to put him in a cage. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sold. I'm in.
It's if you like murder, you probably wouldn't like it, but it's like it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I'm in. I'm
like
still in
true
on the true
crime.
crime
I
stuff.
also don't. I like it. It's like kind of. I feel like it's almost like guys who like complain about The Bachelor, and then the girl makes them watch it, and like, oh, this is actually really entertaining.
Exactly.
Like I just have the free will to not put it on. But if someone put it on, it's like sit down. I'd be like, fuck.
Well,
this
you've
is
seen like
good.
the Jinx, right?
Jinx. I say is the last good one because it's the last one I watched.
It was like
It's
the
the
first
best
one, really.
It's the best one, but like, dude,
No, Jinx was after Making a Murderer.
it
No,
was before.
Was it really?
Yeah, but you
it
know
was the
what-
first one that like became a thing. I think.
I do feel guilt when you realize that these are human lives.
I know.
because you forget and you're just eating like pad thai and you're like
I
pass the
know.
dumplings and then they're like and her body was never recovered.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, all
At
right.
least those are usually like long time ago cold cases. When the Gabby Petito shit started, I was like tweeting fucking
It's like
jokes
murder
and things, and I was
porn.
like, oh fuck, this girl's
Yeah.
like dead, you know.
It's her
At one
parents
point, I
lost
was
a kid.
insinuating that she was in on it, and they were Bonnie and Clyde. I was like, I might need to delete this. She's a dead girl.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing was like look, no one wants to go bald at 23, but you can't just strangle your girlfriend. That's fucked up. You know, it's
Strangling is tough.
horrible.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's
Looking at you.
Did you see
I
the
hope they
picture
find him.
of the New York Post tweeted it
Yeah, I
today?
mean, I think we hope they find him. We can all
I don't want
agree
to
on
divide
that.
the studio here, guys, but I hope they
Someone
solve.
was like, I hope Brian Laundrie is scot free.
Oh, really?
I hope they solve the murder.
They tweeted a picture today. Have you seen I Think You Should Leave on Netflix?
Oh, he's brilliant.
Unbelievable.
I think Tim Robinson's like the funniest dude.
Oh, unbelievable.
And him
Absolutely
with
spectacular.
Sam Richardson together, they're just gold.
But this tweet looks like I think from season 1 where they have the gorilla that'll rip your hair off for the wigs. So the New York Post has tweeted Brian Laundrie may look different now, according to internet sleuths, which is so fucked up. All the people like being like, "Oh, I saw him in Canada. I saw him in Michigan." Like, shut up. Let the people do their work. But that looks like one of the wigs from that skit. It's like we just put him on.
Is that like a computer composite?
Like this is what he might look like with hair.
He doesn't look like a murderer anymore. He looks like he knows about artisanal cheese. And no, you know that guy.
It's like
that's
a
fucking,
broke boy self.
Well, it's like Gone. It's like Gone Girl, right? Where you're just like, oh shit. this is-
Yeah.
Uh,
I almost watched it the other day, by the way.
By the way, like they're saying that he's wearing like a wig, right?
I think
'Cause
so.
he wouldn't have grown that much fucking hair in like a month.
He's bald. He wasn't a 23-year-old who willingly had a shaved head. I think he's incapable of growing hair.
Yeah, right.
So yes,
that's gotta
so
be,
he-
the
He's
man
got-
on the run might be wearing a wig.
he's got a
Got it.
beard. He'd shave the beard too.
Dude,
right?
if he puts on a hat, shaves the beard, and does like if he grows in the little like bald ring, like nobody will ever recognize him.
that's
'cause
the
he's
truth.
so,
like,
like,
if you saw him walking
nondescript,
down
you
the
know?
street, yeah.
Like, he could walk in here right now, and I'd
No,
probably be
that'll
like,
hurt him more than anything. That'll hurt him more than finding him, calling him a forgettable white. You're forgettable, Brian. No, he.
sees the wanted poster, he turns himself in, just like, get rid of this fucking. I can't have that out there.
No, he's. It's gonna be a crazy true crime because there's so much we probably don't know about it too, and that's the fucked up thing is that you know that there's gonna be like the way Netflix and Hulu both had a Fire Festival doc. You know there's gonna be multiple because it's such a big story.
Absolutely,
you know?
and you're right. They're all working on it right now. And I follow this guy Brian Enton, who is a reporter, I'm guessing, and he has made himself the like premier reporter for this shit. He has been outside their house.
Ugh, it's
for
so fucked up.
fucking-
But behind
it's been
Brian Laundrie's parents.
Yes,
or?
by Brian Laundrie's house. It's been
Maybe,
like a
but,
month
like,
now.
if
I think he
they're-
thought,
do you think
I'll
they're
like
in
stake
on
it
it?
out for a week. Oh, definitely.
You think they helped hide him, or do you
I-
think he just said I'm getting out of here?
I think
and they were
they-
like, I don't want to know.
It was either I don't want to know or like we won't say anything. I don't know if they like helped him get out of there, but I feel like, or my thought is he never went home at all.
Yeah.
Nobody like actually saw him. There's no other reports other than his parents, and his parents were like, we saw him on Friday, and then it was like, oh no, wait, actually we saw him on Tuesday. And it's like I don't think.
How you fuck that up? Those are like the two most opposite days possible.
I was having
You
a
have to
great
pick,
time.
like,
You
the
don't
two-
remember if you saw your son, dude.
Yeah.
It's also like I love when the dad was like, "We're gonna join the search." I'm like, that's like when I told my mom I was gonna help her find weed. I'm like, we should look for the rest of this together, Mom. We got to get to the bottom of this. You know?
Could you imagine that? Like, you find him and you're like, go down. Nope, nothing over here. All
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
All clear. What would you do if your kid, if you were Brian Laundrie's dad?
I don't know. It's tough because like I think my mom would turn me in. I think she loves me, but I think she would be like, you fucking broke the law. I think she would be heartbroken, but she'd turn me in. I think
My mom told us.
Said
It's
she
not.
told
I don't think.
She knows?
My mom told us every
What
day as
about,
children,
like-
if you commit a crime, I will turn you in.
Okay, but what if you were like, let's say you hit somebody with a car, and like you're not like drunk driving. Let's say you like .08 or point something, but it's not bad. You weren't really doing anything reckless or bad. Somebody like jumps out in the street, hits you, you hit them, dead. You think she's turning you in for that?
they're struggling. You just have
She
to put them out
doesn't-
of their misery. You go shh.
Like
Well,
fucking.
that's-
What's
You
his name?
didn't do anything wrong. It just gets darker and darker. Maybe you have sex with them afterwards because you're bored. I don't know.
Like Spacey at the start of House of Cards.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I have no reservation that she would turn me in.
Yeah, I feel like my mom would.
You got to turn them.
My mom's
It's
pretty ride or die.
painful to say, but like you got to do it because they're a murderer. And like they'll if they don't turn themselves in, then they feel no remorse and
Right.
they'll probably do it again.
I think
I thought
also you
what-
have to like, just accept that point. Like, well, I fucked up as a
By
parent,
not,
so
yeah.
maybe it's time to let someone else in charge of this.
I
kid
I
for a
think
while.
that what fucks them too is the strangulation. There's no, I was thinking like they got in a fight and he pushes her and she like slips on a rock and hits her head and it was like, oh fuck, I
A
didn't mean
victimless
to,
crime.
or
Yeah,
something that was maybe
that could happen to
mitigating.
anybody. You threw off a cliff.
I just smashed her head and I held it down in the river for a little while.
You called her a stupid bitch before you did it. An accident. No,
But just being like watching the life go out of someone, like there's no
it's
way around
dark.
that.
No, he's
that's
a
very
murderer.
murdery.
He deserves to. He deserves to rot in a cage, and I'm gonna put him there.
You know what? Honestly, he deserves is to like live in the swamps of Florida. Just fucking let him go. Like his life's probably worse than being in a prison. Not even kidding. As I
I'll
think
tell you,
about it.
the
Would you rather live
Everglades-
in an alligator-filled marsh, or just
Or
be in
just
a place to
regular
get meals
Florida.
and
It's
shit?
not that much better. Have you been to Orlando?
Being on the run in Florida, or just in Florida,
Yeah.
better than fucking
No,
prison.
If he's in the Everglades, they said there's no way he's alive. Like that's a pretty fucked up. Like just the fear of having to like be like, oh, am I gonna get eaten by an alligator or
Yeah.
something?
Right.
Like-
That's why I don't think he was ever there, man. I swear. I think he stayed out. I think he's still fucking out in Wyoming or
He's
wherever it
probably
was.
too much of a coward to ever. I mean,
That's why some people think he killed himself, and I'm like, I don't think you would lawyer up and do all that shit if you're gonna just end up killing yourself.
yeah, I don't know. If you kill yourself, like, what's the point of hiding?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
We're gonna crack
The
this
lesson,
on this
the lesson
episode.
here, the lesson here, man.
This episode goes on for 45 more minutes. The three of us are
I don't
sitting
know,
in
man.
silence.
What do you
being
think? I don't know.
wonder.
I got it. Like, I
But
feel like that's the type of detective I would be. I'd be like, I got it. I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot. I've
what was
been
I gonna say?
drinking
What was
a
I
lot
gonna say?
lately. He did. I'll do that with TV shows. I was doing that with Only Murders in the Building the other day, where I was like, I know what happened, and then I was like excited to text my girlfriend to tell her. I was like, here's, and then I was like, I forgot what I was gonna say. I got all excited. I was like, I don't know. I'm tired. I feel like that's the type of cop I'd be like, I'm tired. You see all those movies, the cops work themselves into the ground, they never take a break. I'd be like, I'd be the opposite cop. I'd be like, what is it? It's 5. I'm gonna go.
It's quitting
I
time,
always
man.
think about that with like, I don't think about it in real life because I don't know everything about real life, but in TV shows and movies, when the cops are just like, they just go home. I'm like, this dude's killed 8 women in the last 48
Hi, honey,
hours.
I'm home.
And like, if he's following his timeline of escalation, like, while you sleep, he's gonna kill 3 more.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
look, you need to sleep. The human body needs to sleep. But
I
there's
think
no
that's
one
what
else
it's like.
working on this while you're taking a nap. Like,
Somebody pick
you
up the
didn't
baton
tell-
and run with it,
yeah, You
maybe?
didn't tell Rick to step in for like, oh, I'm gonna go catch some Z's. Rick, how about you work on this? This is what I got so far. The guy just grabbed their jacket off the back of their chair.
Oh.
Well,
And
like, how
boom.
about the Gyllenhaal movie, Guilty? Like, if you were
What's
working
that?
the phone,
It's a new Netflix
He's
movie.
a.
Is it good?
I think it's good, but when I tweeted about it, a lot of people were like, "That movie fucking sucked."
It's an
Like,
hour and a
he's a
half.
great
Really
actor.
All
visceral
hour and a half
reaction.
movies are good.
So this is that's why I think it's good. Is he's a what do they call it? Dispatch?
Yeah.
When he's taking the 911 calls, because he's like, you find out he's been suspended for something
Like
basically.
the
He's
opposite
on the
of
clock.
Nightcrawler, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, literally. And but it's the whole movie is just him in like the call center, and it's just like camera on him, and I think he does a great job of acting. But this woman calls, and this and
She's been kidnapped.
He basically investigates the whole story just through like phone numbers and shit like that. I'm like, I don't know if I would have just been like, oh well, we got disconnected.
Like you ever see
That's
that
it for
movie?
me.
You ever see that movie with Tom Hardy, Locke?
No,
no,
that?
is that the one where he's a twin?
The whole movie is him on the phone in a car. That's the whole movie.
Wow.
And it's like
That's a
it's
good
like
movie.
it's like a play where like literally every call, you keep finding shit out that
Yeah.
that
That's pretty
heightens.
cool.
It's really good.
He's like one of the only guys that can pull that off
Dude,
too.
he's
where you-
incredible.
That's
you know
gotta
who did
be
it?
a fucking-
Not Gosling. Fucking Ryan Reynolds did that. Ryan
Whole
Reynolds
movie?
is a whole movie. No,
Van
that-
Wilder. That was one of them.
No, this was his first one where people were like, oh, this guy might be able to actually act.
What was that?
Buried. He gets buried alive, and he's in.
And that was
yeah.
good. I thought that
it
was. not
I
good.
liked. I saw it in theaters once. I've never gone.
Isn't
back
that
to
kind of
watch
what
it.
like Kill Bill 2 was though? She's just like buried.
I don't.
and then she
I don't know
comes
if I've
out?
seen Kill Bill 2. It's Kill
No,
Bill 2.
I think the Ryan Reynolds one's like it's literally just him in the coffin the whole time.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah. He has a phone.
It's a cool.
and-
I like when movies do weird ideas like that
Mhm.
because so many movies you're like, I've seen this a million
Yes,
fucking times.
exactly. At least
So-
it's different.
Oh, it's got an 87% Rotten Tomatoes.
That's no
buried.
joke.
Oh,
That's cool.
What's the critics?
That's probably. I think they give you the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. I think.
Give you both sides, no.
Oh, I just googled it. Audience 65.
See, that's what I mean. Those
critics.
scare me. High critics, low audience scare
Yeah.
me, and low critics,
The
high
N-
audience
the
is like the
Nanette
best
effect.
movie of all time.
Yeah.
What is it?
The Nanette effect.
The
Yeah,
Nanette-
Right? So it's like 100 critics and then like 27 audience. Or
Yeah.
something.
Saving Silverman, man. There's like a 75% difference. 'cause
Oh,
the- 'cause
really?
The audience like.
I thought that was
fucking
funny. I
awesome.
remember
Yeah,
liking
and
that.
Great,
I mean, it's,
great movie.
I think it's a comedic classic.
Yeah, Jack Black. He doesn't miss much. He's-
Did you see this? Our beef with John Cusack this week?
I saw like a second of it. So was it you? Who was
No,
it?
no. Well, I say our, and just meaning Barstool.
Someone,
it was
someone
a
said
Chicago
someone said it
White
was
Sox
you,
fan.
and I was like, it
No,
wasn't Kevin. I
I
saw it for a
wish.
second.
I wish.
So you
So
you guys.
our White Sox like fan. who was
I saw
our-
a clip and he's like you don't know this person.
Yes,
Was he,
that's
he
what
was
happened.
clearly drunk,
so
wasn't he?
it
There's
was,
no
it was,
way
it
he
was
was
after
sober.
the game. It was after the game. So
Oh, that
who
was after the
knows?
game?
Yeah.
I think it was before the game too.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was before the game.
Huh. Even worse. That's even more absurd.
So wait,
Because
so
then they
it's-
probably weren't drunk.
So
I thought it was like after. a
there's
big,
no
you
way
know-
he was sober for that.
Well, you know what? Were you on the rundown when we found out? So the reason why this all even happened. So long story short, our White Sox guy, he hates when people root for the White Sox and the Cubs. Same thing here if you're like a Mets and Yankees.
And Cusack
fan.
does
People
that?
Like, so Cusack says he's a big White Sox fan, but then like when the Cubs were winning the World Series and shit, he hat on at the stadium cheering and rooting. So our guy was
I don't
like,
hate it only because he's from Chicago and the Cubs. Like, here's the thing: I'm a Yankees fan, but I do like the Mets. That's the thing. It's like I wouldn't wear a Mets hat. I know I'm gonna piss you off here.
Yeah.
If you're a big Mets fan,
Yes.
but like I grew up like loving Piazza and Todd Hundley and fucking.
Why?
Why? Because
I think it's easy
why
for a
we-
Yankee fan to like the Mets. I
It
think
is.
it's harder
That's,
for a
well,
Mets
that's the
fan
other
to
thing.
like the Yankees.
If we were like dominating for your whole childhood, and there were like Mets fans in school, fucking
I grew up a
crushing
Yankees fan
your.
because of my grandfather. Like I would literally watch games on his lap.
Yeah.
As like a fucking 4-year-old. So it was like Mattingly and like
Yeah,
all those.
that
cool,
yeah, and that
So
and
I
usually
love-
people take that and just run with it.
I run with
But-
it, but like, I always liked Al Leiter on the Mets. Like I kind of always liked their players.
Well, what's funny is it's like
And he played for the
should
Yankees
be
in the end.
totally kind of acceptable, but I don't know. It's a mental illness sports fans is where it's like,
I'm a Giants
fuck you,
fan.
you're not allowed to do this.
I'm a Giants fan, but I like the Jets. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
you're just out then. Fuck you, Sam. You're just out. You're just not a good
don't-
example of this. I'm sorry.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I liked all those, like, fucking Edgardo Alfonso. I
Yeah,
loved all those guys
yeah.
growing up. I mean, I don't know. It's probably weird, but I'm just like, I'm a New Yorker. I can't ever root for the Brooklyn Nets. That's kind of where it
That's
goes.
where you draw.
'Cause
But see, that's the thing. You're a Knicks fan. You're like I feel like you're way more of a Knicks fan than you are a Yankees fan, right?
Well, here's the thing. In the 90s,
I mean, I feel like
in the
even
90s,
just
I
knowing
was,
you,
yeah,
you
I am,
talk
but
about the Knicks.
but
You live the Knicks.
I live the Knicks, but in the 90s, the Yankees is like one of my favorite teams ever. Like,
Well, that was cake, man.
I mean, Posada was like
you
my
guys
guy.
were. How old were you at that point? How old were you now?
When we won the first one, I was 10.
So you're like
And I
living
was
your
literally-
childhood through a New
this
York
is the most
dynasty.
Jewish celebration. We couldn't drink alcohol. We were kids. Me and my brother, we take seltzer bottles and we shake them up and spray them like they're champagne as kids. But yeah, we loved, like, Paul O'Neill was the fucking coolest player.
They were a great, obviously.
They were just all
very good, but
gamers,
they were
dude.
also cool.
Bernie
guys to root
Williams,
for.
fucking
Yeah.
Tino.
Before they sold out, and it
Boggs.
was just like the
Boggs
A-Rods
was
and
a fucking
Giambis.
alcoholic who
Yeah.
just could not get on base.
Yeah.
It's insane that he drank himself into a stupor.
and then would bat like 360.
They did
He
that
was
Always
unbelievable.
Sunny in Philadelphia
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
But Boggs was the man. Then, dude, I loved all those guys. Like
No,
Jeter, Mariano.
Paul O'Neill is my mom's least favorite. My mom's not a big sports fan,
I hate
but my
Paul.
mom would scream at the TV at Paul O'Neill because my mom's maiden name is O'Neill, and she spells it with one L.
He
And
spells it
Yeah.
too.
He
He spells
and
it
like,
weird.
apparently
And
that's the regal
and an
way.
I.
And she'd be like,
Oh.
what do you think? You're a fucking king?
You think you're better than me?
You think you're a king, Paul? Like, she didn't even know
Whole
what Paul
family's
O'Neill
successful.
did.
The sister's a chef.
Oh yeah.
Molly O'Neill.
Molly O'Neill and Paul O'Neill.
O'Neill was a fucking beast, and he's
Yeah.
great on Seinfeld. That's a great
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
No, the 90s. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I go against what you believe
But
in
but
here.
what was so funny is Cusack stepping up, like you said, and being like, who was the first baseman in 1983? Do you know Lamar Hoyt? Do you know this? Do you know that? And I guess the whole reason it happened was that dude, White Sox Dave's cameraman and like producer, saw this like smoking hot shit. What?
Sorry, I just Googled this for the first time. I never knew what the what do you think you're a king O'Neill really meant. She thought she was just a crazy old woman. The O'Neills with two L's are descendants of King Nile, who was a warrior king in the 4th century.
Wow.
And my mom was still
Mad about it in
really
1998.
fucking pissed about that.
Wow.
Sorry to interrupt.
She's a
That's the-
psychopath,
That's the
man.
first time I've ever looked that
She's
up.
a wild woman, dude.
That Seinfeld with Paul O'Neill is fucking amazing.
But see, it's not it's no Keith Hernandez. That's the greatest baseball cameo.
He's a great
appearance of all time,
cameo.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the guy's producers saw like this unbelievably gorgeous chick, just like smoking hot, and it was Cusack's girl. So
okay.
Cusack had this like super hot chick on his arm, and so this little like hornball producer's like, oh my god, who's that girl? And he's like, oh my god, that's John Cusack, and he knows this guy's had this long running rivalry in his head with him, and he was like, you gotta like go after him, you gotta get on his case.
Because he doesn't like that he plays both sides.
Yes.
See, here's the thing. I would never like wear a Mets hat or
Yeah,
something. 'Cause
that's what's tough.
I wear Yankees hats. I'll never wear a Jets jersey.
Yeah, and like if the Mets were in the World Series, would you be like front row wearing the gear,
Hell
cheering
no.
it on?
Hell no.
And if you do that, then you
but
can't turn
all
around
I'm
and claim
saying-
to be a
all I'm
White Sox
saying-
fan.
No, I would never
Yeah.
do that. All I'm saying is I will be happy if the Mets win a World Series. That's kind of where it ends for me. But
But you'd be like in a cute way, like, oh, good
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you
good for
guys.
you.
Oh,
Exactly.
you guys
That's what
got
I
one.
don't-
That's nice.
but here's the
But
thing.
if
like,
we had like a 5-year dynasty, 5 out of 6
I
years we
can't-
won, and I was talking shit, and I was an obnoxious Mets fan the whole time, would you still be happy for me?
I don't know.
You'd
It's tough.
probably grow to hate me.
It's
Because that
tough.
was why I hate all you guys.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. I would never. I think I can't wear other teams' merch. That's just
Yeah.
not how I like. I had a publicist, and he was like, "I'm a Rangers fan, the New York Rangers. You know, I'm not a huge hockey guy, but I root for the Rangers. That's how it's always been since I was a kid. I love Messier. I love those guys."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'll get you." He's like, I guess the Islanders were really struggling to attract celebrity attention, so because they made it all the way down to me, and they were like, it was a playoff game too. They're like, do you want like ice side seats, you know, right by the ice? Do you want? And they'll give you a custom jersey with Morril in the back,
wow.
and you're on the screen. I was like, what is that, like fucking NASA or something?
Yeah,
And he was
yeah.
like, yeah, and I was like, eh. I was like, when am I gonna wear an Islanders jersey? If the Rangers do that, I'll do that. He's like, yeah, the Rangers list is. I'm like, all right, well then.
Yeah. The Rangers are a little full up. They got Margot Robbie tonight.
I was gonna say
They
the
got
Islanders, man.
They got Jimmy Fallon.
The Islanders
good.
going down the list, being like, all right,
like
Sam Morril.
Yeah.
It's either Sam Morril or Saddam Hussein. Is this what the hell? He's dead, right? All right, go for Morril.
God, yeah. DiCaprio said no, so we're on to Sam. That's fucking great, man.
Well, yeah, I just can't wear the other the other team's merch.
No, I get
and like
that.
yeah, you're right. The Knicks, I'm the most hardcore about.
would
And
never
the
wear
Yankees and the Giants, I feel like I kind of nutted for life. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Giants
You've
beating
had
the
your fucking
Patriots, I'm
moments.
like,
That's it.
I don't care if they ever win again.
Yeah,
like,
ever.
I mean, and they won't. After
Yeah.
last week, that was rough.
It's a good thing you feel that way because it's not happening.
They literally went. That was like Lord of the Flies. The amount of
Yeah,
them
man.
that died, and then they went down, and then and beating Brady twice is hilarious because he's the best of all time, and Eli beat him twice. So I'm good for life. The Yankees, I'm like that. Growing up with that team was the coolest.
But
thing
you never
ever.
really got one with the Yankees because again I'm from Boston, so like my championship run was like the perfect time. It was like it started when I was like 17, went until I was 30 probably, give or take. And like that was like
So
I
he's
could drink,
partying,
I could
going to
party.
parades.
Like with the Yankees, you never really got that, right? Like you were.
But also, what's equally, it's different. But having that as a kid, when
As a
you're
kid
like,
was
that
pretty
confidence.
cool.
yeah, you know, it's like
My brother and I
like
were
if it
at
wasn't
one
for
of
the
World
Yankees, you're
Series
probably never a
games.
stand-up.
We were at one of.
You never have the like, oh, I'm a Yankee fan. I can do fucking anything.
Yeah, it does give you confidence. But also, like I see these kids growing up in Boston now, and it's like they don't know what it's like to lose.
No,
All
they
these
don't.
teams have been
They don't.
so good. Now they have like they're finally losing a little bit, and they're just like, what the fuck?
they
And,
don't
and
know,
look,
they
the
just jumped to the Bucks. They
Well,
just root for Brady.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, we haven't started losing yet. Super Bowl last year, brother.
I had a friend. You always know the kid growing up like that. I had a friend who was like, "I'm not a fair weather fan. I just root for Shaq." And I was like, "That's you follow the biggest, most dominant force."
I feel like in
sports
basketball
history.
because their athletes are so individually marketed. But like baseball is like more regional,
Sure.
and then football's national. Hockey, no one gives a shit about, and then
Well,
basketball is
is
like
like-
an individual marketing.
Baseball, you go to like certain places. It's so regional. Like if you go to like Cuba, they just play where they're from.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking cool. You're just like, oh, this is my city. I'll just play for this. Is
That's how hockey was for not for a long time, but when hockey first started, that's why like the Montreal Canadiens have like I don't know 18 banners I think or something like that, or I don't know that's what the Celtics are going. I don't know 20 something banners I think, and it's because you could only have players from where you're from. And
The
the
Canadians
Canadians
are the
are
best.
real fucking better than the people are in New York.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
like the original 6 franchises, the Canadians have all the Stanley
Right.
Cups, which is a fucking sick way to do it.
It would be cool if if it was just like wherever you live or are born is where you play.
Yeah.
It would definitely change things a fuck ton.
it is
Yeah,
pretty.
everything would be the Olympics.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
It'd be kinda
basically,
sick.
basically.
It's pretty cool, and it's weird the amount of trades in the NBA now because it's like now it's great that players have more rights, but at the same time you're like, man, you can't really buy a jersey anymore.
No, yeah. I mean, it's a relic of the past in like a year. You know what I mean? Everything's like 2-year deal opt-outs.
I
too.
bought a Julius Randle jersey just because I was like, it's been like 20 years. Fuck
Yeah,
it, let's just
get a
roll the
jersey.
dice.
Yeah,
I
there-
love Julius Randle.
There has
so
not
much.
been many Knicks jersey worthy purchases.
But I love RJ Barrett too. Like I will say, I
Coming into
love a
his
lot
own,
of these
man. I
young
feel like-
guys. I love the Knicks team this year so much. I'm so excited, man.
If Randall doesn't like just disappear for that Hawks series, I think it's an entirely different.
Totally.
know.
I'm going on Wednesday with Stav. We're going
Oh, you?
to the
Yeah.
opening night, and I'm trying to get Taylor into the Knicks, so I got I'm like let me find the best way to do it. Oh, cheap seats, Orlando. That's one thing because no one wants to see the Magic, but it's like it's good because I get better seats, so she'll like that.
And she's not gonna know the difference between the fucking Magic.
And also the
you know.
Magic fucking suck. So the Knicks
They're gonna win.
The
It'll be
Knicks
exciting.
wipe the floor with
Yeah.
them. Watch this backfire. It's like the one game. I'm like Jonathan Isaac's killing. What the fuck?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about him. He won't be playing.
That's right. But I just want to get her into it. So.
Actually, no. Yes, he will be. It'll be in Florida.
The Knicks is I think
They're
something
awesome
you can
this
get
year.
a girlfriend into though. Also, like what it's awesome when they're good because it's right there at the Garden in the city.
It's
You
electric.
can like get out of work and just get right there.
It's
you know,
the
it's
best
not-
thing.
It's the only place that you don't like. Everywhere else in New York, you got to drive or take the train like a fucking hour sometimes.
Yeah,
from-
I'll never
You're
go
going
to the
from
game at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, no,
more
I
good.
mean,
It takes too long.
If
And then
you're,
once you
if you're
get
like,
Getting out is the real problem.
Yeah.
getting out,
Yes.
but getting into the
like, the actual
stadium
stadium.
itself.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not even getting to the Bronx.
But then
Getting
taking
into
the train
stadium.
out is so brutal,
bro,
too.
I
Yeah.
remember
Everyone-
leaving the
That's why people leave games early.
going like Upper East Side when I used to live Upper East to like the Meadowlands is like a fucking 2-hour journey.
I know.
And I remember leaving a Giants game or a Jets game, whatever it was, like relatively early, and the trains run every like not as frequently as they should. And they're like herding you in, and it felt like concentration camp-esque. Like you're snaking the lines, and they're packing you in the trains, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is.
Oh, dude, I remember going to Giants games back in the day. I was a kid, and my friend's dad got us playoff tickets. It was like me, my friend, and his dad. We were in literally the last row of the stadium, the worst seats in the entire.
Back against the wall type shit.
But it was awesome. It was against the Vikings. The Giants won 41-0. I
remember that, yeah,
and it was when the Vikings had Randy Moss and fucking Chris
Dante
Carter.
Culpepper and
Culpepper
them.
was
Yeah.
awesome. They were a really cool team, but the Giants fucked their ass up.
Yeah.
And I remember this guy. This is when they still had glass bottles at the stadium.
Oh shit.
So this guy stands up and he's like, "Fuck the Giants!" He's in a Chris Carter jersey. Everyone just looks at him. They all take their beer bottles and start throwing them at him. And you just see him go like, ugh. It was like Willem Dafoe in Platoon. He was like, ugh. And he just goes down. I'm like, this dude's gonna be hospitalized. This is horrible. But that's what playoff games used to be like.
Yeah, that shit's
Remember in
crazy.
Cleveland are the most fucking mean fans on the planet. Like everyone talks about Philly, but like. Their quarterbacks were literally like Tim Couch was dying. Who was a quarterback they had in the 80s?
Oh my god.
What's his name? The guy, he was awesome, but he just never had an offensive line, so
In
they just
Cleveland?
fucking hated him. Yeah, the Browns. What's the guy's name?
Oh, Bernie Kosar?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like letting that dude die. He's got a million concussions. He's not even making sense on TV. But they're just like, it's crazy, man.
That is funny too, like how people deal with it now. Like the Sox Rays game the other day, one of the commentators, fucking Smoltz, I forget who the other guy is, but they were like, it was after the throw out to third, and it was Verdugo got thrown out to third, whatever, and someone threw something to Kiermaier, and it was kind of like, ugh, and look at this, a fan's throwing something. And it's like, yeah, they used to throw glass bottles. That was a hot dog wrapper. Let's not make a huge fucking
There's a difference
deal out
between
of
when
it.
they throw
someone
garbage
ran
and when
on-
they throw weapons.
Yeah.
You remember
Batteries and
someone
shit.
ran on the field for the Yankees game and just hugged Jeter? Like that's like mentally ill. But like the announcers they're always so disgusted. They're like, oh, you hate to see this. They escaped. This is like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest shit. And you're like, oh, this is a
Despicable
disgrace.
behavior.
This is Bush League.
Talk to me a little bit about the documentary, the Full Capacity.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
You're all gonna like it.
Did you like write, produce, direct? Like how?
It's
like,
not. No, it's. I mean, Matt Salakis directed it, who did my rooftop special. I love Matt. He's one of my very close friends, and he just started filming me at the Cellar coming back. He was like, I just want to he thought it would be cool to just kind of get, and then. It's weird to bring cameras to the Cellar because it's such holy ground for me.
Right.
But comics seemed down. Like a couple were like, "Fuck off." And
Really?
I get. Yeah, that's fine. But then
Are you showing like you're not showing material? Like was
there's
it
a few
like,
jokes in there. I do some bits in there. But it's,
I know people get a little bent out of shape about that, right?
well, what's cool is a lot of comics were like, you can use my material for this because it was like COVID material. So like, I don't want to use this anymore anyway. So
Can burn
and
it as
like
is.
Ronan Hirschberg, who's like an amazing joke writer. He would use like Cuomo jokes. These are all jokes. He's like, I'm not going to use these again.
Right. Go ahead.
So, yeah, it was really fun to make. You got all of your favorite comics, right? It's like Dave Attell, Colin Quinn, Ray Romano, Sam J, Chris Redd, Taylor Tomlinson, Mark Normand, Ari Shaffir. Like so many fun, Joe List, so many fun cameos. And it's just me kind of shooting the shit. It's like kind of comics, a lot of whom I haven't seen in a year. And we capture like what it's like performing at the Comedy Cellar for 30%, 50%, 100%. That's why it's called Full Capacity, because we get the whole thing, and we just it's kind of capturing just the energy of what it's like for New York to come back as a city. It's really fun.
When you're doing 30%, were you just like, oh, this is just like the old days when I didn't have any fans yet?
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is.
like going back to the dark ages.
But also the Cellar. It's weird to be because we're used to the Cellar being on fire always, like so hot.
Yeah.
So when you're doing 30%, it's technically sold out, but it looks
Right, it looks that.
But it look, this is what they're allowed to have in there. But it's not. It's not.
Right.
So it's people are looking around.
Tons
They're kind
of
of
space.
misbehaving. We capture a lot of that
Yeah.
because back in the day when it's full, they're like, oh, this is a hot ticket. I better behave.
Right.
But when it's not full,
They're kind of fucking around.
They're drunk.
like-
They're obnoxious. We capture a lot of that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny. And then 50%, and now it's at 100%, and it's incredible again. Like it's the best place to do comedy in the world.
Yeah.
There's nothing like the Cellar to me. I love it.
What do you? I mean, I feel like there's always a little like East Coast West Coast rivalry on that. What they, the Cellar here and the store out there.
I don't really
right?
work the store. When I go out there, I'll do like the Improv or Laugh Factory. They have a whole weird thing about like, oh, you're not like a paid regular or whatever. And
Really?
I'm sure if I badgered, I
You
could
can't be
get
like a
my way
pop-in
in. But
or
I just
whatever.
I want to go where I'm wanted. That's
Yeah.
kind of where
That makes sense.
And the Laugh Factory is always like they always like just throw me
Yeah.
up when I'm there. So there are shows I get up on, but yeah, no, the store's a great club. Obviously,
right.
It's.
What's the worst place you've been? We've been asking a lot of this recently. What's the worst city?
I mean, worst
Well,
city.
you gotta
I
be
mean,
Naples,
and
right?
Naples is fucking horrible. That club is. I know I've burnt that one to the ground, but like,
Yeah.
it's so funny. I said something about it sucking and the club sucking, and someone wrote underneath like, enough. Like we're doing a hard job here, and I saw the comedy club liked that tweet. So I'm like, oh, they're
They
seeing what
know
I'm
it's
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Naples, Florida. You know why Naples, Florida is terrible? Because they don't respect comedy. They just kind of look at you. I talked to someone recently who said, like, I've talked to, like, comics who are pretty successful who are like, yeah, they just are like, they see you and then they're like, oh, we've seen him now. We can just talk. Like, they don't want to see the show. They're just like, oh, a famous person. And with me, they're like, yeah, we don't even give a shit. Like, you're nothing to us. So they talk through the show. That's one of the worst gigs ever.
Where were you for that latest crowd work bit? The 23-year-old with 3 kids.
That was in Indianapolis. I had a great time.
That was fucking funny
indie
as a
crowds
clip.
are fucking great.
They're
so great.
I'm always so surprised by like the amount of characters or circumstances that come out of like crowd work where it's just
Well,
like there are fucking characters.
I do so many.
everywhere,
People
man.
are always like, "How does this keep happening?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I do so many shows. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like I just kind of have the cameras rolling because like
all the time.
I feel
yeah.
like I have to throw shit up to promote gigs, and then I don't want to burn material. So I'm like, oh, we'll just do crowd work or a topical joke that I'll never tell again.
Right.
So indie. I was kind of like, do I have the cameras rolling? I had a camera guy in St. Louis, but I just go through Instagram to find these people usually.
Yeah.
Locally, and this guy's like, well, I'm not a cameraman, but I have the 2 cameras set up. I can do all that. And I was like, oh, he's like, I'm a finance guy, but I'm a fan. And I was like, all right. Shows up off his ass drunk, like literally a pint of bourbon like this of
shit.
Blanton. So he's like a top shelf drunk too. Good shit. He just killed the whole pint, and then he came in for more. I was like, this is fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
He was hammered. I was like, did he get the footage? He sent it to me. I'm like, all washed out. I'm like, I thought you said this was 4K, dude. So I was like, all right, I better get a real
Turns out you
cameraman.
can't,
Do you
ta-
pay
yeah,
him
you
for
can't
that?
trust
You, like-
random drunks on the road. Who knew?
No, I didn't pay him. Fuck him. He didn't do anything. I don't think he also said you don't have to pay me. I was like, good.
Goddamn right I
You did a
don't.
horrible job.
Yeah.
I'll pay you if you do the job. So then, indie. I kind of I'd been there before, and I was like, I know they drink. I know they're good. It's one of those things where you're like, it's kind of the perfect mix for like good crowd work, where it's people who are not, they're uninhibited, but they're also
They're gonna be quiet.
They're
gonna be
cool.
assholes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're just cool crowds. It's
Yeah.
funny when the vaccine stuff comes up because they're like, talk about the vaccine, and it no matter what, I'm gonna lose people. So it's funny to riff on just how much I'm losing people.
Yeah.
But they're great. They're great crowds in Indy.
And so, aside from Naples, because that was like the big joke, but is there just a town that you
Reno,
just, like,
Nevada sucked.
Dude, I've been to Reno once. I was skiing out in Lake
it's a
Tahoe.
soulless place. I
It
feel
is
like.
really
Oh, it's bad.
sad.
Vegas sucks. And then you go to Reno, you're like, how about Vegas, but worse in every way?
Yeah.
I remember opening my shows in Reno. I said, I was in a casino, and I said, man, this is great. I've never seen fake tits in an oxygen tank on the same people. That's kind of how it
great.
felt. You're just like, you're
Yeah.
just in Reno, Nevada. You're like, I bombed so hard there. And I remember after the gig, it was like 10 years ago, I was like, never again. And then the offer came in next year, and I was like, is there anything else? And I was like, no. I was like, all right.
Here we go.
I'm back.
When I was in Reno, I was like, I was going to Lake Tahoe, and we just stopped there for the night. Like we got in late, so we rented a car in the morning to drive to Lake Tahoe. And my
That's
buddies,
supposed to be nice, Lake Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe, no, we were just going skiing.
Yeah.
But like the nearest airport is Reno, so that's where you kind of fly in. So we got in late. We're renting cars in the morning. We're staying at a casino that night, and my buddy called me, and he's like, dude, you want to go down, like, have a drink, play some games? I was like, man, honestly, just walking through there was so depressing. I'd rather sit in my apartment, in my hotel room alone for the entire night than go see any of that shit again at all. It was so fucking sad.
And people who know John's more bleak and depressing than any of the people he saw. So choosing yourself, your own company for you, that's
just walking on that floor. I was like, I can't do this again.
I remember I was there and they were like, "You're doing morning press," so I had to like go outside the casino at like 6 a.m. The amount of characters, I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna get stabbed."
Yeah.
And they took their sweet time to get me. I'm just standing there. They're like, "We'll be there when we're there."
Yeah.
I'm like, then of course they drop me off. This is classic bad comedy club shit. They drop me off the radio, then just no one's there to pick me up, and I'm like, "Well, how do I get back?" This is like 2012 or something. I'm like, there's not like Uber. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Maybe there was Uber, but it was like shitty. I don't. So it was like a whole thing. And
there wasn't Uber in Reno in 2012.
Probably not.
Maybe in New York City.
Like San Fran and New York. And that was it.
It was rough, man. That was a rough one. But like, you're just kind of like, I just need to work, you know.
What do you think is? Are you just gonna do like stand up? Like, do you have aspirations to like write comedy, like sitcoms or cartoons?
I wrote
like
an
that?
animated show with Dana Gould that I love, and we just couldn't sell it. It's kind of like, it was a superhero show, and there's just corporate strangulation on every network where they're just like, we have a deal with Marvel, we can't even hear the pitch. We have a deal with DC, we can't even hear the pitch. We're animating The Boys at Amazon for some reason.
Can't do that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like you're just fucked. I mean, so it's like it's a great show, and I love it, and we worked on it for like 7 months.
Is that something you could put out on your own?
Animation's really
tough,
expensive,
right?
And also to do it right, it'd be tough. Right. But I still think we'll make it someday. Like, Dana's such a brilliant mind for comedy. He really is. Like, I mean, he wrote for The Simpsons for like 10 years. He created Stand Against the Evil on IFC.
Got it.
You know, he's a great stand-up. So I mean,
the reason I asked was like, are you going to try to take the whole idea of like, I'll just do it by myself to other, other realms of entertainment?
It's a good question.
It worked, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like the special is in the millions, and everybody like. I mean, I've always said I think you're kind of the first person to put like your special out on there and really. No,
Schultz was before.
And I know you say that, but like Schultz was like an internet guy as is. I feel like you were like a comedy guy who was trying to be on a special on a streaming service, and then just fucking went with it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it,
well,
like,
he kind of saw it before the rest of us. You know, Andrew really had the foresight that the rest of us didn't. But I think
the rest of you fucking morons were like, what's the internet? I'm just gonna go on the club in front of 72 people every night.
I'm gonna go on the TV still.
Morons.
I'm gonna go on cable.
Yeah.
Watch my special at 11
for
p.m.
4 minutes at 11 o'clock at night.
I'm still submitting.
You gotta,
late night sets.
but it's not.
They're still fun to do.
Yeah, I would always be honored to do it, but it's not like you can get on there and it doesn't do anything. Like you haven't made it because of that anymore.
I know, it's a bummer because it's so much harder to construct late night sets than it is to just like go on a podcast. But like it's just so much more like honing and like figuring out like placing jokes. But
I remember the book in Robin about Robin Williams. It's not an autobiography, it's after he was dead, but they talk about how like when he came up, if you got 15 or 5 minutes on Carson, it's like the next week you got a show.
Yeah,
you're
a made man.
As soon as you did that, it's like
I feel like
you're
now there's so many comics. We missed everything. Back in the '90s, I talked to comics who were like, if you went to the Montreal Comedy Festival, you got like a $750,000 holding deal.
Shit.
But by the time I went to Montreal, I got a mediocre agent. That was my prize. Like the woman who repped me was actually very good, but the agency was terrible. So she was just kind of handcuffed. It was an agency called Paradigm, and I remember the guy who like was like the closer there. They were like whining and dining me. They're like, you like to drink, right? Let's get you some really good scotch. And he was like, this guy's hot shit. And I remember he signed me, and then I was like, hey, what happened to Fred? And it was like 2 months later, they're like, oh, he left for UTA. And I was like, he's a guy. They didn't tell me. The guy who signed me. They're like, yeah,
he just left without telling me.
It was like 2 months after they signed me.
Ghosted by your agent.
It was such a rude awakening to what this business is. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought this guy cared about me.
Yeah,
it's literally like we're dating, right? And they're like, oh no, that was nothing to me. You're nothing. You're fucking dog shit.
I didn't even know you could do that. You just left.
No, not even a fucking email.
Nothing.
Just gone.
Yeah, but the woman
makes
who
me feel better about
she
things
works
I've done.
more. She works more in the music space now. But her name was Kama, and she was actually great. She really cared, and she was a hard worker, and she was just handcuffed by by.
We're doing a show at the New York City Comedy Festival this year. First time we've ever been a part of it, and there was like a poster of like all 900 names performing, and we weren't even on it.
What the fuck?
It's like we couldn't even get
Don't you
on.
hate that? Or
we
you-
couldn't even get on the poster. That was already embarrassing to be on.
They're
because
like,
it was just
you're in there. They point to it, or it just says "and more." Yes, you're a part of it.
And then like our agent was like, yeah, they also messed up some spellings. That was the whole thing was a wreck. I'm like, they changed like one I before E. And
Like
then
they
added our
spelled
name.
Trevor
Like,
Noah Noah. You're like, that's correct. I think that's like there's other mistakes. They're just trying to do damage control.
and then they added us, and I was like, okay. Whatever. So
yeah, no,
yeah,
it's they always find ways to belittle you, and it's like that's why I'm kind of just like so over festivals. Like I'm doing the festival too, but it's like I'm just this is like probably the last one I ever do.
Yeah.
I hate festivals.
Do you just do like your normal set, or is it like? Because I've seen
Yeah.
some of the other guys. I think Feeney and them are like presenting like some sort of idea they had that's like outside the realm of just like a regular stand-up set.
No,
You're
I'm,
at the Gramercy Theater too, right?
yeah,
that's
You're
what
the
we're doing.
14th.
yeah. I literally.
smash that.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny, man. I'm doing it, but it's like I'm flying back from San Francisco that day. So my
Yeah.
agent's like, you can do the 14th, right? I'm like, I'd love to do another day. Because I'm flying back from San Francisco, I'd have to take like a 7 a.m. flight out of there.
Like, all right,
and they're
great,
just like,
14th.
they're like, it's only the 14th. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it doesn't
then.
seem like I have a choice here, so let's do the 14th.
Yeah, we're the Friday the 12th at like 12 p.m. It's like a 6 o'clock show. I was like, what?
Oh,
Who's
dude,
gonna
it's
be
so
here?
it's so funny when they're like, well, this is you get to be a part of the festival. You're like, I don't see how that helps in any way. They're like, you're a part of the festival. Like this
festival.
doesn't mean. Oh man, you do
Just
these
things don't mean
festivals.
what it used to mean.
Nothing
right?
means
Like,
anything. I
yeah.
just did Moon Tower in Austin, and it's so fun. But you're just like, well, I could have just done a club here.
Yeah,
I got
well,
to see other
think-
comics. That's a fun thing. I got to see like I'm. It's funny. I'm here I live in New York, but I never see Dave Attell. I got to watch Dave Attell.
Do you go to many?
Shows?
Yeah, like
No.
it's like baseball players going to a baseball game. It's like no, this is just like what I do.
Um,
Like on an off night is it like the last place I'd ever want to be as a comedy club?
I just want to rest. I'm just kind of like
Yeah.
run down because it's like now it's like, you know, you do when you're home for 3 days, you're just running around doing podcasts and stuff. And I'm gone so much that I have my podcast with Mark that I have to backlog when I am here and when he's here. We're both gone
Right,
so
right,
much.
right.
So sometimes we have to do 2 in a week or,
Yeah.
you know, and we drink on that one. So it's like,
It's
it
not
takes a
easy.
toll. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm tired. You're like, why am I so tired at 8? You're like, oh yeah, we hit Negronis at 2. That's why. So yeah, it gets harder to go out and do the sets because I just haven't taken a road weekend off since April.
Shit.
So I just haven't
So you're
taken one
fully
weekend
back
off.
at it,
I'm
yeah.
going to take a couple weeks off in November to try to heal my neck. I just got injections in my neck, so hopefully that helps. But
What are the injections of? You said that to start. Like I just got injections. What, shark blood?
it could be Botox. I don't fucking know. I don't.
It's probably cortisone, right?
I probably
Yeah.
something. He said it, and I looked it up.
like
I was like,
a-
that sounds fine, but I forgot what it was.
It's
I'm
like
an
a
idiot.
cortisone. It's like a steroid.
It wasn't a steroid. It
anti-inflammatory
wasn't a steroid.
Sort of like yeah.
I should have known to ask you.
Yeah.
Garen's like,
I-
I've
I was
got all the shots in my neck.
That was the story where my brain ended up sagging because they fucked up. They punctured the spinal cord
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
That was where the injections. I was
All right,
supposed
you
to
win.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. That's
Everyone was like, "These are so good. It works for everyone." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I was like, "You fucking ruined my brain."
Well,
Dude,
I
that's
have
my
vertigo
biggest
now.
fear is, like people talked about the vaccine, the people that were getting blood clots. They were like, "Well, it's because they were injecting it on their vein." You're like, "Oh shit, that makes sense."
You can do anything on the
makes
vein.
that makes it. They're like the vaccine's giving you blood clots. I'm like, no, the idiot at CVS is giving you
Yes.
blood clots.
Yeah, they started. You can get them in like the parking lot of a Starbucks. It's like,
I
I need like a professional here.
You get a frappuccino and a
puncturing
fucking and a Pfizer. That's it. 2 for 1.
Have you seen the conspiracy theory they're putting out there now about remember the nurse who got it like the first day and then fainted on camera?
No.
So it was like December 17th or something, and this
Oh, wow.
nurse got the shot like on like the local news feed, you know, like historic moment, the first administered, and then she like gets up and like stumbles and falls over, and I think it was like she was nervous, it was hot, the lights are on her, and they're like, what they haven't told you is that she died that day. And the family's covering it up. The government paid her off, and they're like, no, she's not. She's just alive. And I don't think she's.
I think
made
you're gonna say
some
she got hit by a
grand-
bus.
No, that's what I thought too. Was like maybe she just died some other way, but like she's just alive. And I guess she should probably just like.
You gotta make your conspiracy theories harder to just dig up. Then it's like, no,
Yeah.
she's just like, no, I'm here. They're like, yeah, but that's it. We got it.
I
Yeah.
think they were like, she hasn't posted on her Instagram. Like she must be dead. It was like, What?
No, she's just
No.
really. She's actually really healthy. She just got
she's
off
living
social
her life.
media.
Yeah.
Oh my god, when Instagram went down, I felt so much better. It was funny, like people were freaking out, but I was like, oh my
set
god.
free. Yeah.
I was like, let me just take like a few hours off social media. And I was like, and then you forget you can take this.
You can do this all the time.
Well, you're so aggressive with your posts in a good way. I mean, but like you'll post the 1 minute thing so much, and they're always like really well produced, and
fuck,
clearly
speaking of, I gotta start
they're
with my
written,
shit.
and it's like, but then you're like, holy shit, like this is we're all doing a lot of work on the social media, you know, and we forget we can take time off. Like I think so much of us in this field, like you know, any type of entertainment, we just feel invisible, so we have to just keep reminding people that we're alive.
Because I think it's also the one I get, or the one in my own head, is that like I'm like, well, there are so many people doing it, so if I go away for a week, they'll find someone new. And I'm like, no, I'm still here. No, I'm still here. Hey, I'm still here. I'm just a little fucking dog yapping at your heels, being like,
I truly, genuinely feel though, like if we were to take time off, that we would like lose our entire audience. I know it's crazy, but I genuinely feel it. I'm like,
because there's
I've
so much
stopped,
entertainment.
Like, I think about, you know, I used to listen to sports radio, and then I just kind of like started listening to podcasts, and like people do just kind of drop certain things.
But that's a
pick other
different
things up,
medium,
and I'm
though.
like, yeah, but
and
that's
you
what
guys
I'm
have,
worried
and you guys
about,
have
is,
done a
like,
good job adapting to different mediums. I mean, that's the thing is like. Think about it. If you like a thing, you're going to stick with it. Like, I just saw the poster for Succession Season 3, and I was like, hell yeah. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes.
It's back. I'm
right.
in.
That's what I wish we did from the beginning. Like, I think podcasts should be like Season 1, 2, 3. You have premieres and finales, and then you get like a little bit of a break. Go listen to another show for like a couple months, and then you come back. But it's like we should all agree to do that. Like, you know what I mean? So I have an agreement that we can all like share some space here, man.
It's tough
crazy.
to take breaks, man.
I mean, I know it's not real, but I feel it. So I'm like, no, let's just keep going forever and ever.
It's tough.
and hopefully one day we'll die.
Yeah, the sweet release of death, man. All right, dude. So the documentary is full capacity.
It's on YouTube.
That's on YouTube as well as the special.
Free. It's a lot of fun. If you see me on the road, I'm doing new stuff. I'll close on old bits sometimes if people yell them out. But I'm doing new material on the road, and I'm everywhere. I'm in every city.
I do like the yell out the old bit, and it's like, all right. You know,
if I can remember, if they yell out like "Do the White Knight," I'm like, I don't remember it. It's like an 8-minute bit. I don't know how to fucking, you know. But if it's just like a regular joke, I usually remember
you
it.
give them what they want. So.
Yeah.
All right, man. It's always a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, bro.
All right, the holiday season is approaching. All I want for Christmas this year is YouTube subscribers. We got to get to 100,000. I want that 100,000 plaque.
Subscribers?
We've got a goal for all you out there, for everybody. At 100,000 subscribers, Polly Feidelberg will join us on the show. Maybe. Well, if not, we'll probably have to trick her into it. But at 100K, you will get Polly content. So subscribe, click the bell icon so you get notifications so that you're always watching. Leave a comment below. Talk about it. Post about it. Spread word. Tell your friends. 100,000 subscribers on KFC Radio for Polly Feidelberg. Let's make it happen.